welcome back. Let's play a little bit of Vampire together. So, we have three choices. We are going to split up with, 1 point. So, the character that I've been calling here, Patrick, apparently, I looked it up a little bit, the name is not supposed to be pronounced. The D is apparently silent in Irish, so it's Parick, something like that. Parick. But it's still related, I guess, to Patrick. So I guess it's not too bad to pronounce it like that. Although probably if I have any Irish viewers here, they're cringing every time I say it. So we have the chance, dread game. Parick driving like he's gunning for his personal best. I'm not complaining, but he's being strangely careless. I mean, this is Mr. Proper we're talking about. What could possibly go wrong? Or we go chasing Ellie. The idea of finding Sansaric in Morningside Park seems sketchy as hell, but hey, at least it's a lead that we actually have. Or chasing Ellie in the church. I haven't been to a church in ages, so fingers crossed the floor won't scorch my feet and that I find some info on what the heck is happening to Sansaric. Should I do this side quest? I'm not really sure. Like, it seems like it's an optional one. So, I don't know. Let's do it, right? We're going to take all the opportunities to do quests as we go. I don't know, because in the previous chapters of this game, there in the first one, you had some limited amount of time to do stuff, and then if you did some side quests, maybe it was such that you didn't manage to fulfill the main quest. So that's why I'm a little bit pondering, but I'm not sure if it's actually an issue in this game. I actually love rushing things. I'm pretty slick at handling stuff on the fly. Sure, things can go off the rails, but I've usually got a quick fix up my sleeve. Oh, bollocks. But when someone else is calling the shots, and then things go south, it absolutely drives me up the wall. Hang on, we need to stop. That's always when accidents happen and mistakes are made. The kind of mess I have no fix for, the kind I really can't afford right now. For the love of... So really, I'm more disappointed than surprised when suddenly there's a soft bang and Patrick, perfectly serviceable vehicle, starts wobbling and swerves hard to the right, sparks flying out from under a flat tire. No shit, Sherlock. I grim at him mockingly. Not so perfectly serviceable now, is it? Outrage flashes through his eyes. It's not the car's fault. Someone left nails on the street. Besides, changing a tire is a trivial matter as... Yeah. So you have a spare or what? Patrick shoots me a disappointed look. Of course I have a spare. It's only sensible when... Right, of course. Mr. Walking Perfection. Thank you, Mr. Walking Perfection. Sure. I don't know why I even asked. Alright, so do what you gotta do. I'm gonna go stretch my legs a bit. Hold on, I don't think... Oh, but I do. See ya. And I'm off before he can start to truly protest. I know he won't leave his precious baby all broken down and vulnerable on the side of the road just to chase after me. He knows I'm not gonna bail. There's little point to it now either way. Now, is there anything interesting to be done around here? As it turns out, there is, although I suppose that depends on one's personal idea of interesting. There's some guy standing in front of a small crowd, yelling and flailing his arms around. Performance? Well, color me interested. I creep closer to take a look. Save us all. And you've got to do this, strategize, prep, and tackle our current reality with clear objectives in mind. And for that, we have to look to the sky to survive. What is he high or something? Technology is the future. Plain and simple. Humans roaming the land? That's old news. That's in the past already, as Aaron Fletcher would put it. Jesus Christ. It's one of the Fletcher sycophants. No wonder every single one of his listeners looks like they're about to barf. Fletcher is not just a visionary, he's the vanguard of innovation. Where others see obstacles, he sees opportunities. Our society is starved for role models, for genuine heroes. The man's got a plan for tomorrow, for what we as a collective are about to face. It's hilarious how his seal is doing the opposite of what he aims to do, given how quickly the crowd is thinning. Fucking sheeple! You'll be digging shitholes with your bare hands when he launches us, the enlightened, into a new era. Fuck yeah! Let's roll out the red carpet for an era of failed projects and spectacular lack of common sense. Who said that? I didn't really mean to say it out loud, but I'm kinda glad I did. I cross my arms, tilt my head confidently, and look the weirdo straight in the eye. There's almost nobody left, so I guess it must have been me. He scoffs dismissively. A female, of course, how fitting. Purple hair too. Daddy didn't love you enough? Straight to daddy issues, huh? You know, big guy, my old man is quite generous. I could probably convince him to give you a hearty embrace. This whole thing you've got going on here, it's practically screaming for Papa's big chunk of attention. The words escape my mouth even before I manage to process them. A whisper of laughter travels throughout the crowd, and the maniac grows red in the face. A fitting color, I'd say. Listen here, you little bitch. I come here to enlighten the blind masses to the genuine genius of Aaron Fletcher, not to be disrespected by a, You didn't want to be disrespected, but you're out here, all hot and sweaty, eagerly blowing Fletcher's trumpet. My guy, you're the real knob, if you know what I mean. Somebody in the crowd howls with laughter. All of the blood in the body of Fletcher's groupies rushes to his cheeks, and he wheezes with outrage, both eyes and veins bulbing out of his face. Shut the fuck up, you bitch. Wow, how super original. What do you say next? I'll kill you? I'll kill you! All brawn, no brains. I roll my eyes theatrically as he starts to elbow his way through the laughing crowd. Look, it's been a pleasure, but I'm sort of on the clock here. I'll fucking kill you! Asshole. Somebody should teach him a lesson. Whew. So using powers, of course, it's a bit risky. We know that the hunters could catch wind of that. Feral whispers is calling like animals, I suppose. Eat shit, piss off, or yourself to daunt him, to make him scared. That's definitely will attract attention. Or let him come. I mean, what's he gonna do? Like, he's gonna... Let's just stay here, like, be all confident. Like, what's he gonna do? Like, maybe somebody else in the crowd will intervene anyway. Like, they're not gonna let some big, brawny guy, like, kill some woman, I think. Let him come. He lunges at me, but it's perfectly clear that he has no idea what he's doing and only relies on being far bigger and bulkier than me. I take a few small steps back, dodging the flying fists, which to me look almost as if they were in slow motion. The guy could be punching through molasses for what I care. When he comes into my perfect reach, and because he really got on my fucking nerves, I lift my leg, bend slightly backwards, and deliver a perfect crushing kick right to his crotch. The wacko lets out a whimper of agony and immediately crumples onto the ground like a puppet whose strings have been cut. He coils into a fetal position, wallowing in pain. When I straighten up, the crowd is quiet, but they unanimously take a step back when I give them an indifferent look. Man, you're nuts, pardon the pun. The wacko just wheezes, and I calmly walk away. The crowd, unperturbed, disperses, leaving him writhing with agony on the ground like a rat that he is. Well, that was a productive half an hour. Wonder if Peric is done with the tire. When I finally return, the nearly perfect serviceable vehicle, Peric, he is so visibly exasperated with my tardiness that he's a hair away from stomping his foot impatiently. I know, he's too well-mannered to do that, but He does cross his arms and scowls at me with annoyance. How nice of you to finally joining me again. Well, I think, honestly, so far it's worked really well with him. You wouldn't believe what just... He gives me a beleaguered look. Fine. No stories for you, buzzkill. Come on, let's go. Clues hopefully await. So, that brings the question again. Church or park? And I feel like the church sounds very intriguing. Eric drops me right off the church's entrance and then hurries off to comb through the Morningside Park for any trace of Sans Eric. Finding the church wasn't easy. Hell, nothing really is outside the usual New York hotspot list, but once you hit the right street, you just can't really miss it. It looms large than a huge rose window glaring down the patch of land, which in the warmer months is probably vibrantly green. Right now, though, it's just a dead white blanket of snow. I stare at the church, rubbing my hands together and thinking hard, I guess. There's nothing to it, I just have to check this place out, brick by brick, stained glass by stained glass. The church is bolted up tight for the night, but when has that shit ever stopped me, right? A couple of twists and some elbow grease, and that crusty old padlock snaps open. I used to have this thought, not too long after the embrace, every time I went by a church or a chapel. What if I set my foot inside and get fried to a crisp due to the divine retribution? I mean, Reynard did clue me in a bit on how shit works in this twisted new world. He wasn't exactly jumping to teach me anything beyond the tricks of the game, but he was crystal clear that unless I hit an astronomical level of bad luck, garlic was nothing to worry about. Still, it took some serious guts to step into a church for the first time, and when I finally did, I didn't burst into flames. But I did stumble upon a missionary who made it out of North Korea, and I actually learned a couple of things. First off, seeing a holy cross like a consecrated one gives me the heebie-jeebies. A bizarre quirk that's totally unique to me, I guess, since Reynard burst out laughing when he mentioned it. Secondly, people with that rare, deep, unshakable faith seriously freak me out. Make me feel like a terrified critter in a wildfire, absolutely sure that doom's hot on my heels. Before I got the embrace, I never really picked a lane when it came to believing in stuff. Guess being undead decided for me. So, if I'm going to meet my final death, it's gonna be in a blaze of glory, doing something awesome, reckless, and highly entertaining. Not because I got singed by some holy water. There's not a soul inside, just a shit ton of rats. I mean, sure, there's sort of the unofficial mascots of the city, but this place is crawling with them. And they're huge, fat as fuck. As if they ate the kings. I have to step carefully, cause I've already dodged a few outraged squeaks and bite attempts at my ankles. At least no crucified Jesus is hanging around anywhere. Guess even if he has to crash to his body's place when his pad is getting makeover. Guess even he has to crash at his body's place when his pad is getting makeover. Yeah, renovation in the church, it seems. So this could be interesting. What type of rats are here? Usually rats are very associated with the Nosferatu. Let's see if that holds true. It takes me a while to thoroughly search the premises, only to confirm that Sansaric is indeed elsewhere. Honestly, it's hard to tell if he was ever here at all. To be honest, also, why would he be in the church? After a few minutes of aimlessly wandering, I stumble upon a notice board cluttered with scraps of paper. Parish notices, holy pictures, and what seems to be handwritten prayers. As a connoisseur of weird and wonderful, only one prayer catches my eye. It's a paper visibly unblemished by the passage of time. It's so glaringly out of place that I can't help but gently pull it off the board to get a closer look. North of the havens is grand celestial shrine, brother in the Lord, united by blood that is divine. Island blessed by his touch, where saints and angels shine. North of the heavens is grand celestial shrine, brother in the Lord, united by blood that is divine. Island blessed by his touch, where saints and angels shine. Well, I guess that's what local publishing does to poetry. Suddenly I'm hit with the weird urge to share this find with Patrick. I wonder if he would be puzzled by the text or just crack a smile and start rattling on about its deeper meaning. Guided by an impulse, I tuck the prayer into my belt bag. Then, as unlife goes, I promptly forget about it, especially when a whole swarm of rats burst out in a crackling in the wall, their incessant chittering filling the air. But what exactly piques my interest is a trapdoor right next to the crack, its outline barely visible against the dusty flooring. Where could it lead? I get flooded by a sudden itch to go to the bottom of it, literally and figuratively. I have to. I need to find out, to explore the unknown, the perilous, the hidden. Overwhelmed by a fierce curiosity, I scramble on my hands and knees like an animal, groping around the trapdoor for any handle, lock, or leverage point I can find. Sure enough, there is a small handle, but no lock. Just a narrow slit where the trapdoor doesn't quite fit right. I shove my fingers into the slit and I find out it's been bolted shut from the inside. The question of how someone locked it barely registers as a bitter taste of disappointment and frustration floods my mouth. Only now I notice voices drifting in from the outside. They're distant, so it's tough to tell if they're a threat or just some dudes on a late-night booze cruise. But there's a barrier to my discovery, and it pisses me off beyond common sense. Pied Piper was spot on. Pied Piper, better not to take unnecessary risk. Yeah, to talk to the rats I think would be a good idea. Why not? We have the power for it. I breathe in and out, finding comfort in this useless habit, trying to calm the primal urge to just rip through the trapdoor. Instead, I lock eyes with one of the rats. Fat, huge, and with a startling intelligence hidden in its gaze. I let my will extend to its mind, envelop and dominate it, and issue a simple command. Open the trapdoor. The rat stays still for a moment longer, then it scurries into the crack in the wall. A scant minute later I hear faint scratches from the other side of the trapdoor, and the bolt comes loose with a quiet clink. I lift the trapdoor on its moany hinges and meet the rat's gaze, looking up at me expectantly. I could just tell it to scram, but it nailed the task, even under duress. So I rummage through my belt bag, take out some stale kibble and chuck it on the ground. Good job, buddy. Here's a little something for your trouble. The rat glances at the kibble and chirps in disgust before scampering down in the darkness below the trapdoor. Well, fuck you two. I looked into the yawning darkness behind the trapdoor. Perhaps it leads to the crypts or some other intriguing underground section beneath the church. Not that it really matters. The narrow passage is absolutely crammed with corpses. No wonder the rat snubbed my treat. It's got a whole pantry in there. They're of various stages of decay, and none have escaped being gnawed on by the rats. They don't look like anyone particular, but then again, it's hard to tell with their flesh full of holes and tears. Some of them may look as if they've been bitten by a fellow kindred, with what looks like puncture wounds in their necks. These marks are quite well hidden though, concealed among the bloated skin, red teeth marks, and the pallor of death. Even though I have the ability to turn off my sense of smell, and in that moment I most definitely choose to keep my nose shut. The sight alone is enough to make me feel nauseous, and I squat down to sift through their pockets. I find next to nothing, which is hardly surprising. Leaving obvious clues would be a rookie mistake, and it's clear that they were killed by someone with at least some chops, if not a full-blown pro. Still, one breast pocket does turn up something interesting. A note, scrawled in handwriting and shaky that I have to squint, put in a real effort to decipher it. 40.8006 degrees north, 73.8986 degrees west. 5'10", black, yellow eyes, highly aggressive. Exercise extreme caution. Well, the description screams Sansaric. But what's the deal with these coordinates? For my belt bag, I fish out the dated map of New York, some genius in my crew stashed in our RV's glove box. It's old as hell, but hey, it's not like coordinates change all that much. I quickly look, confirms the numbers line up with a place near Rikers, called North Brother Island. Suddenly, that bizarre prayer I found clicks into memory, and all the damn pieces of this puzzle slam together. North of the Havens is Grand Celestial Shrine, Brother of the Lord, united by blood that is divine. Island blessed by his touch, where saints and angels shine. North. Brother Island. Crafty little fuckers, those serpents. Looks like I found our lead. I pull myself easily out of the trapdoor and gently shut it to hide the bodies. Let someone else handle this mess. I leisurely approach the meeting spot just in time for Patrick to pull over. And so I gracefully get into the car, closing the door behind me. Not gonna lie, I'm vibrating with excitement to share my find, but I try to keep it cool. So, any updates from your end? Sansaric wasn't chilling the park, was he? No luck there, unfortunately. It was a dead end. I notice a slight twitch in his right eyebrow. Is he pissed about wasting time on nothing? Or is it about something else? How about you? Did you find anything solid in the church? Nah, not really. Unless Sansaric turns into a rat, then yeah, there were tons of little Sansarics running around. Can you be more specific? Yeah, it was a real shit show down there. Someone had dumped a whole bunch of bodies into the crypt. Found this note on one of them. I figure he'll skim it while multitasking, but nope. Patrick immediately pulls over before he touches the note. Safety first, huh? What a guy. I see. The description could be Sansaric, truth be told. It could fit half the city, but these coordinates are Greek to me. Hold on, let me grab a map. Save it, Mr. Safety. First, I've already checked. They all point to Hudson. Looks like we're due for a river, right? He suddenly gets super tense, obsessively spinning his ring. I swear he'd be sweating bullets if he could do that with our undead bodies. What the hell, is he freaked out about running water or something? I remember there was a stray in the crew who had that issue, so... You're right. North Brother Island, or whatever it's called, didn't look too far from the coast of the map. Well, that seems to have eased him a bit. North Brother Island, I see. It's one of those little islands in the East River. It's close to Hudson, but not quite there. Is there any way of confirming this lead before we commit to it? Yeah, check this prayer here. Focus on the first words of each line. He reads it, and his shoulders just drop. I lean over and give him a light, reassuring pat. Chill, buddy. I'm a damn good swimmer. I could practically tow you across if it came to that. That won't be necessary. But, thanks. So this is our best shot, I guess. It sure seems like it. Better step on it. We don't have much time before sunrise. So, we finally found another lead that hopefully could lead us to the serpent. But we will have to see that next time. Thanks you for joining me. See you then.